In a capital city in the British Isles, people are forced to flee their homes by a mob which was intent on causing havoc and setting fires. It is a shocking reality and a terrifying experience for those who had to grab what they could and run for their lives.
I only got 3 things from the house, and the only thing I did not get from the house were the letters my children wrote for me, because that is all I have from my children. The letters that they wrote for me 3 years back when I was leaving them back home. I think that is the only thing I didn't get. I only got my passport, my laptop, and my uniform, because I have to go to work.
Until last night, Samaya and Stella were Belfast housemates. They are student nurses from Uganda.
Can I really be able to stay here? Will I be safe because of what happened and the whole experience? So just know I'm scared.
The unrest spread across the city last night. A bus was torched in rioting that police described as an act of self-harm. We were filming alongside firefighters in the nurses' neighbourhood. The police have described pockets of disorder across Belfast. Vehicles set alight, police vehicles attacked. But what happened here is really disturbing. Houses, homes burnt out, 2 of them just around the corner and 1 behind me. The unrest was sparked when video of a man being stabbed in the street in North Belfast was shared on social media. This morning, the suspected attacker, a 30-year-old Sudanese man called Hadi Al-Odid, appeared in court charged with attempted murder. The authorities then repeated their calls for the disorder to stop.
People are horrified, people are living in fear, and I think the message that we send very strongly is, 1, a message of calm. We do not want to see this type of behaviour on the streets. 2, we need to say very clearly that we say no to racism, sectarianism and any kind of hatred out there.
There has been another call for calm from the relatives of the victim of the knife attack. Stephen Ogilvie has lost an eye and has injuries to his neck and back. His family say they don't want this tragedy to be used to divide people or fuel hostility. Peaceful protest, they say, is the only way forward. Geraint Vincent, ITV News, Belfast.
Well, our Northern Ireland reporter Stuart Robson is at Belfast City Hall. Stuart, astonishing, horrifying pictures. Belfast, a city in shock tonight.
Yes, certainly, Mary. That's an accurate way of describing it. And clearly today in the city, many businesses didn't need a protest to take action. Even a rumour of one taking place, in light of what happened yesterday, was enough for them to close their doors early or not even open today at all. Now, throughout most of this afternoon, the city has really been like a ghost town, and no more so over the last couple of hours when what should be the hustle and bustle of a midweek rush hour, well, the streets have been completely quiet. Now, a lot of that is down to there being no public transport. After a temporary pause on bus services this afternoon, Northern Ireland's public transport provider Translink decided to stop all buses at 5 o'clock and all trains to stop operating at 6 o'clock. Now, we don't expect them to begin operating again until tomorrow morning. And bar a few travellers making their way out of the main bus and train station in Belfast today, many had already made their way home. Now, statements were also issued today from education and health bodies, respectively. The Education Authority said that a blanket closure of schools would be neither practical nor proportionate. But meanwhile, and perhaps most strikingly, all health trusts here issued a joint statement saying that the current unrest is having a profound impact on all services and that the disruption is making normal operations increasingly difficult. They also condemned any intimidation of international workers. So even without violence today, the prospect of such is having a widespread impact, not just on public services, but on people too.
Stuart Robson in Belfast, thank you. Well, the Prime Minister condemned the violence in Parliament today. Sir Keir Starmer telling MPs it was totally unjustified. He was also asked by the leader of the DUP to close the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic. Our political correspondent Romilly Weeks is in Westminster. Romilly, the attack is sparking wider questions, isn't it, about the ease with which asylum seekers can cross that border?
Yes, Mary, remember the Brexit issue of avoiding a hard border on the island of Ireland because Irish and British citizens can go back and forth freely and have been able to do so for 100 years. Well, this terrible incident is bringing all that back up with the sensitivities that come along with it. Because the suspect, Hadi Aladid, travelled by bus from Dublin to Belfast across the border, which has only minimal checks, some politicians are concerned that it has become a backdoor for immigration into the UK, and there were calls for the border to be closed at PMQs by the DUP, who you will hear first in this clip, followed by the SDLP, who oppose any such a move.
Will he meet with me urgently to discuss the steps he and his government will take to ensure our values are enforced, that the rule of law in this country sustains, and that he protects and closes the open, porous border between our country?
There has been mob justice and some of the same old proposals for a hardened border on the island of Ireland. Political leaders have a duty to lead, not to lean into people's worst fears and anxieties.
The Prime Minister has been meeting the DUP and other Northern Irish politicians this afternoon, and a government source has said tonight the government will intensify immigration enforcement to track down, detain and arrest and remove illegal migrants in Northern Ireland. This attack, though, is allowing the ever delicate political balance in Northern Ireland to be shaken up too.
Many of the homes targeted were those lived in by foreign nationals, leaving many communities in fear.
Even those who wanted to help told UTV that they were afraid to enter the areas where the masked gangs roamed. Our reporter Paul Riley met some of those who bore the brunt of the unrest.
Oakley Street in North Belfast ablaze last night. Trapped inside their home, 2 care workers, too scared to leave after coming under attack by masked youths.
So when the police came, they parked their cars around our house. So the mob became like people became to like 1,000. They started now burning the houses. So when they started burning the houses, that is when I got to think, I think this is real. It was terrible. The smoke, all the smoke was coming into our house, being that it is the first house as you go to Oakley Street. It is the first one.
Right now, I'm so scared. I can't go back to the house because it was really so terrifying.
Our lives also matter. We are not here to take the jobs. We did not leave our countries to come here and do we came here to serve. We are here to serve the British people. And we are really doing that.
The Happy Women's Group is helping ethnic minority families flee, but even its members are becoming fearful.
With Happy Women's Group, the good thing is that, when they see you, they can relate. They can relate with you. They see a sister, So if you tell them that this is where I'm organizing transport to take you, they have that trust, So it's very sad because early this morning I was talking to some of the BAME leaders that isn't it sad that we cannot go out and help our communities, to evacuate, to give them a lift. My car is parked right outside there, but I can't go out, and risk myself to go and get them.
In East Belfast, homes, possessions and memories lost.
It is what it is, mate, you know what I mean? There's nothing to do now, but she's down there watching her house getting burnt down. That's a feeling I'll never get over, but just seen the whole car go up and I just seen it catch fire. It was actually the door started going first. And then the windows started melting, and then the car exploded, and then a big spark hit the door, and the whole door just went up, and that was it.
Here in the south of the city, this supermarket, one of the casualties. Livingstone Thompson is a nearby church minister.
My role is to, first of all, to be encouraging to the families that have been affected. I also want to support and encourage the PSNI. I want to also challenge the political leaders to say, mind your rhetoric. There is a connection between rhetoric and behavior, and creating atmosphere of safety is a real thing. And I also want to support the community-based organizations like the African and Caribbean Support Organization, so that their role will be furthering a sense of safety and integration. People are fearful because, as they anticipate that there might be more protests, they're looking for ways in which they can secure themselves. And even walking down the street, they do not know whether, because of the atmosphere, they will be just attacked because they are obviously black. They do not feel safe.
Paul Riley, UTV Live, Belfast.
A 30-year-old Sudanese man has been remanded in custody at Belfast Magistrates Court, charged with attempted murder. Hadi Alodid was also charged with possessing a knife and threatening to kill an NHS worker.
The charges follow the knife attack in North Belfast on Monday night. Belfast Magistrates Court heard that the victim has lost an eye. Barbara McCann reports.
This morning, Belfast Magistrates Court heard that Stephen Ogilvie, the victim of the assault, who is in his 40s, has lost one eye and suffered severe damage to the other. His condition in hospital was revealed during the appearance of a Sudanese national who has been charged in connection with the stabbing. The accused seen here in a court sketch is 30-year-old Hadi Alodid from Dunkern Avenue in North Belfast. He appeared remotely from the nearby Musgrave PSNI station, flanked by 2 police officers. Alodid was charged with attempted murder, threats to kill an NHS radiographer, and possession of a knife. He made no response when the charges were read to him via an interpreter. The court heard that he had refused any legal representation but wanted to get out on bail. Police cited their objections to it, and the judge said he was turning it down because of the risk he would reoffend or flee and further public disorder. Expressing sympathy for the victim and his family, the judge praised the emergency services and members of the public for trying to help him in dangerous circumstances. He also issued a warning that any further disorder will not be tolerated by the courts and anyone involved can expect to go to prison. Alodid was remanded in custody until July the 8th. Barbara McCann, UTV Live, Belfast Magistrates Court.
Well, as the clean-up got underway on the streets of Northern Ireland, the politicians assessed the fallout from a night of mayhem.
Yesterday, leaders here united in calling for calm. Today, there was condemnation after those pleas were ignored. Our political editor, Tracy McGee, reports.
These were the scenes our politicians had hoped to avoid. This morning, the Secretary of State met with the Chief Constable to assess the damage to property, to community relations and to the rule of law. Hilary Benn said those who rampaged through the streets last night have questions to answer.
Are we going to continue trying to attack people, burn people out of their homes, leaving children absolutely terrified as they're taken out into the dark with flames and screaming around them? This is not what Northern Ireland is. This is not the great place that is Northern Ireland.
The Chief Constable praised the leaders who had appealed for calm and those who had listened to them.
I also have to acknowledge a number of community leaders and politicians who are out there trying to ensure that people behaved. And there was a lot of peaceful protest in Northern Ireland yesterday. Lawful, sensible, proportionate, peaceful protest.
Michelle O'Neill was at Belfast City Hall to stand in solidarity with the new Lord Mayor, Rosh Donnelly, who, it was revealed, has been informed of a threat against her life. The First Minister clearly angry at the attacks on ethnic minority families.
What I saw last night, that's just thuggery. That's just criminality. That's just terrorising communities, and that's just running people out of their homes, putting homes on fire and destroying public property. That, I don't know what cause that serves.
That's not how the leader of Reform sees it.
The vast majority of those people who were out on the streets in Belfast last night were not far right, were not extremists, just really scared about what's going on in their communities and about the lack of government action. There's none.
In Westminster, condemnation came from the very top of government.
The acts of violence and arson that followed are totally unjustified. We are united in calling for calm and determined to restore order, support the police and all those on the front line, and ensure that justice is done.
Yesterday it emerged the Sudanese man accused of the stabbing in North Belfast on Monday night had travelled over the border from Dublin. He was then granted refugee status. It led to the DUP leader calling for a meeting with the Prime Minister to discuss the situation.
Will he meet with me urgently to discuss the steps he and his government will take to ensure our values are enforced, that the rule of law in this country sustains, and that he protects and closes the open, porous border between our country and the Irish Republic.
Later, the DUP released a picture taken with Sir Keir Starmer where the party says measures to police the border with Ireland were discussed. Not for the first time, violence in Northern Ireland has made headlines around the world. But while the hope is that the scenes of destruction and intimidation witnessed last night will not be repeated, the debate around illegal immigration and border controls looks set to continue for some time. Tracy McGee, UTV Live, Belfast.